What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to start on the project car. That's right, guys. Today we're going to start sanding on some things, kind of round out some rough edges, maybe break the welder out, weld a few things up. But before we get started, I do have one surprise for you. It's right behind you. I don't know if you saw it, but it's right behind you guys. Seriously, it's right. That's right. We have a package from a subscriber. So this individual contacted me through Instagram and said that he had some parts that I might be interested in. So let's cut into this package and see what it is. Look at this. Wow. So I knew about this. He told me what it was he was sending. That is absolutely amazing. We are definitely going to have this. And this computer is a A9P computer, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, A9P, which will work for a standard car. So we will be using this computer. And as you can see, everything is here. So man, this simplifies everything. I'm telling you. So we're good. We're golden. And we have our intake. Hold on, guys. Let me put the camera down real quick and get this out. All right, so as you can see, that is not a stock intake. I suppose this come off of an Explorer. This is great. This is what we need. So like what you're looking at right here is going to help us out so much. He also sent a clutch cable and a two-step quadrant for under the dash. We have a letter here, so I'm going to go ahead and read this. So the aftermarket clutch cable and quadrant I threw in for the red car, so thank you so much. So I have a bunch of this stuff, and the A9P ECU came out of a running car, so that's good. It's good information. That means that we know that computer is good. So wiring harness isn't perfect. I'm not looking for any publicity for this. I like the stuff you do for the Fox. So once he moved on to the newer cars, doesn't really have a lot of interest. You know, this is absolutely something that we're going to be able to use. We may find a complete engine. Even if we do though, we're definitely going to use that intake. It's a better intake than a stock one. So yeah, I'm very excited. And if something happens and we get one that's already got it on it, then that intake can go on the red car. So for this wiring harness and computer, we needed that. We had to have that. So I want to say thank you once again, Bill. Thanks for taking the time out to, hell, just ship this stuff out. And everybody on the channel, I hope, appreciates it too. Guys, if you don't mind, go down below, give Bill a big thanks. He's helping us out on this project car a lot, along with many of you guys. Like I said, I'm trying my best to keep track of who sent what, so that when this car is done, we can just put it up on the screen, recognize everybody, because I think that's how it should be done. To the car. So like I said, tonight we are going to get the grinder out. Not really grinder so much, but the flap wheel, and we're going to smooth a little bit of this out. Now don't get it twisted, guys. We're not going to be completely smoothing out this engine bay. We're not going to run any Scott rod panels. We're not going to be doing a lot of Bondo or anything like that. What we are going to do though is fix a few little issues, sand everything down, make it look good, and hopefully get this thing painted this weekend, I hope. We're not going to completely disassemble everything. We're not going to drop the K member. Probably not even going to take the brake booster out. We're going to take a few things off, obviously, so that we can get in here and really paint this up. But yeah, we're going to keep this super simple. What I want to be able to do is show you guys that you can do this yourself in your garage without having to get like too deep into it. Meaning, if you have your engine out and you've got a small air compressor, you can do this. You can go to Harbor Freight and pick up a $13 gun and shoot this. So that's what I'm trying to show you guys. On to the whole project thing. You know what, guys? It's hard to stay motivated. Not everybody can. I lose motivation every once in a while. Everybody's got problems. You got to get out there and you got to solve your problems, okay? You have to get out here. You have to turn these wrenches. You have to look information up, and you got to get your hands dirty. That's part of it. Like I said before, if you got the money, I mean, whatever, pay somebody. I don't have the money, so we're going to be doing this with our own hands. Okay, so this is going to be the weapon of choice for right now. I thought I had an actual sanding disc, the flexible sanding disc, but I don't. So I'll have to pick one of those up tomorrow. Let me explain what it is that we're going to do. What we want to do is get all these rough edges off. This is very, very sharp right here, and that will cut you to the bone. So what we want to do is smooth all these edges out, these rough edges, so that whenever we start sanding by hand, we don't cut ourselves to pieces. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so just a couple of seconds over that, and now everything feels good. You don't have to worry about it. Let me get you guys set up on something, and we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so it's not gonna look like much, but basically all I'm doing is going around and deburring everything. That way we can run our hands across it and not get all cut up. So I'm gonna continue to do this for a while, kind of clean everything up, and then we're gonna really start trying to sand on this thing and get some stuff out of the way, and hopefully get this thing ready for paint, like I said, this weekend. So you obviously won't see the paint in this particular video. You should get the video for the paint Monday. So hopefully we'll have at least something done in the paint department. All right, so we have all the bolts out for the fender. So we're gonna go ahead and pull that off and see what we have under here. I'm kind of scared actually, but we will see. See if Andrew can get it off. These things can be aggravating. There we go. So typically, these are your rust spots. And it does have a little bit of rust right there, but it's not all the way through yet, I don't think. So yeah, I think we'll be okay here. We'll do some cleaning up. We'll fix what we have to fix, but yeah, looks pretty good actually. But this is why it's important to not park your cars under trees and stuff, which this is more than likely, you know, squirrels, rats, something like that. But when you get up into this section here, I mean, stuff just piles up in there and it causes things to rust out. So there's a little bit of rust in there, no big issue. Car will be fine. We'll kill all the rust and should be good to go. All right, we're gonna go ahead and pull the other fender off and then get the bumper off. And that's probably all we're gonna do tonight as far as like removing panels. And once we do that, that'll kind of free us up in the engine bay so we can really clean things up. Besides, this bumper has to come off anyway because we're putting the GT bumper on it. That'll also get rid of the wiring harness up front for us so that we don't really have anything in the way. So I just got back from the paint store and I thought I would share with you guys what it was that I picked up. So I want to keep like somewhat of a running tally, which is what I told you guys I would do. And I'll tell you what, let's just go ahead first off and look at the price of everything that we got. Now, obviously is by no means enough to paint this car, not even close. This is a lot of stuff like wire wheels and stuff that I needed, some fiber fill, just stuff like that, a little bit of paint to be able to do the engine bay. But first off, let's look at the price. All these things cost $141. All right, so $141 for the stuff that I needed basically to do the engine bay, and some of the stuff obviously will work on the rest of the car. First off, let's just look and see what we got. All right guys, so this is what $141 gets you at the auto paint store. First off, let's go through everything and let's talk about it. So here we have the paint. So this is going to be the paint that we're going to paint the engine bay with. This is the chassis saver. This stuff is to stop rust. It works extremely well. If you guys don't know what this stuff is, you need to go get yourself some. If you're having some rust issues and you need to fix them, need to stop the rust, this is the stuff to do it. It is extremely viscous, thick. It's really good stuff. So we're going to use that over there on that pillar to be able to stop that rust. Right here we have our clear coat. So we just bought a quart today, and what this will do is this is more than enough to do all of the engine bay and a few other things. So just buying things in steps, guys. This, you might ask, what is this? Well, this is for the interior because we are going to keep this gray. So while I was there, I figured I would go ahead and pick this up. Now, funny thing about these colors, see how this looks like it has like a brown almost tint to it, and it even says khaki on it. So this is something new I'm going to try. Usually I use Ladera, I think is the color that I use, but it's a little on the brown side, too much. This is a little more on the gray side. So I know that this doesn't look like it'll match, but believe it or not, these colors match pretty good. So at some point, see, I know that looks crazy, guys. Trust me on this though, it's gonna look really, really good in the car, or at least I think anyway. So that's like my test can, so that whenever we have some downtime, we're gonna probably pull a couple pieces out and spray. This is fiber fill. This stuff is really good. It's a two-part. You mix it up. It's like a Bondo, but it has fiber in it. But it's really easy to work with. The fibers aren't like super long, so it's easy to mix up. So we're going to use this to fix that, and just some extra hardener here for that, just in case. Mixing cups, which they give you at the paint store, or they should anyway, if yours don't. Some wire wheels, just to clean up, like, you know, areas like this. We want to get most of that rust off. And we have some of these little discs here. They're 50 grit disc. They're flexible, well, kind of anyway. They're not super flexible. We're going to use these on the little mini buffer. They actually just screw in. We're going to use these to get up in some of the areas and really kind of smooth things out. Anyway, guys, there it is. So let's talk a little bit though, real quick, about this. Now, I know I'm going to get some serious hate for this. I know it's coming. Just typing away down there in the comment section right now. This is what we're going to do. Down below here is a whole nother section of this, so it's flat underneath. So this top piece, you know, isn't the whole structural support. So what we're going to do is we're going to kill the rust really, really good. So we're going to kill the rust with the chassis saver. Going to put it all in here really good, and then what we're going to do is we're going to come back and put the fiber fill in it, smooth it all out, and we should be good to go. As long as this rust doesn't spread, we should be good. I know not everybody has the money or the means to go out and pay somebody to cut all that out and weld it up. Should you? Yes, but let's just be real. Not everybody's gonna do it. So let's just be honest with each other. We're gonna fix it, and this car's still gonna ride and drive great. So far, that is the only rust that I've seen on the car that's through anywhere, so not too concerned about it. I'm really not. I've done some test spots on it with the welder, just trying to kind of peck at it to see if I could get some welds to stick, but yeah, it didn't really work too good. As you can see, you get hit in the front end of this car and it's gonna crumple all this shit anyway, and you might as well just ditch the car. So whatever at that point. All right, guys, so we have our chassis saver right here, and all you want to do with this stuff is just paint it on pretty thick, and this absolutely kills the rust. This stuff is really good. So we're just gonna paint this on, and then we're gonna come in with some fiber fill, and we're gonna fill this thing up. That's some shitty welds. Well, actually, they're just a series of tack welds because I cannot find my hood anywhere. So that's all that needs to be anyway. So we're just going to tack that up, and we're going to grind it down smooth. There was a couple pieces up here that were broken, so I just tacked those up. We'll come back and fix those also after we grind everything back smooth. I want to talk a little bit about welders and people like weld shaming, I guess we could call it. You know, there's so many people out there in the world that will shame the hell out of you if you don't know how to lay a perfect bead, or oh, look at that popcorn, or stuff like that. In most cases like this, where you're just kind of like filling in a crack, or it's like for visual purposes, really more than anything, more than structural purposes, guys, come on, it doesn't matter. You can grab a welder, come out here, weld up these holes. Who cares if it looks like popcorn? It doesn't matter, because essentially you're just going to grind it all out, and I'll prove that to you, because that is about as ugly as it gets. Now, we may have to come back in once we grind it and fill some little pinholes in, but ultimately, aren't you just wanting to fill the holes in? So stop all the weld shaming. You know, we know that some of you guys work professionally welding and you take pride in your welds. I used to weld, not professionally, but I got paid to weld. I used to weld pretty good. Not anymore. I was an aluminum welder anyway. Plus, I'm just using a little $100 Harbor Freight welder. Point is, guys, I just want you to know that to hell with what people say. Go to Harbor Freight, go pick you up one of these little $100 welders. You can weld subframes with them. You can weld exhaust, you can weld holes up. Who cares, right? Doesn't matter. All that right there is going to sand out just fine, and I'll prove it to you in just a few minutes. I'll try to throw a picture or a clip up to remind you guys of what that hole looked like. It's pretty massive. Oh yeah, one other thing, what you're going to have to do, it's best if you can find like a brass bar or something. That's what I use. And essentially, let's say this was your hole, not that big obviously, hope not. You want to lay that brass in there, that way you can connect the weld without it dripping through. It's just a good idea anyway, if you got like a little piece of brass laying around or something like that. Pick it up, put it behind it, or really any sort of metal other than steel. All right, we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna smooth all this out with 50 grit. All right guys, so this is what we'll be using, it's 50 grit on our little buffer slash sander. So let me go ahead and start smoothing this stuff out. Still a couple pinholes in it, so obviously all we're going to do, put a little filler on it, smooth it out, should be good to go. Welded up this up here because it was like I said, it was broken. This car obviously was hit in the front end, like I've said before, and there was some substantial damage done, it looks like. And over here, this is a little rough. This needs to be pushed back out and welded up. There's a little crack there, and some hammering and some dollying. I'm going to go ahead and apply some filler to this and smooth it out. I'm probably not going to take you guys along for that ride just because it's messy. It's going to take a little while, but I'll probably just show you a little bit here and there, or you may just see the finished product because I've got to get a move on. We got to get this thing ready to paint. All right, I'll give you a quick update. This is not finished, by the way. I know you guys really can't see it, but anyway, that's where the big hole was. So we've applied some fiber fill and a little bit of Bondo, just kind of smooth it out a little bit. I'm gonna have to go back in, obviously, smooth it out some more. Over here, this is not finished either. This is gonna have to be finished out, but as you can see, that's looking a lot better than it was. I did fill in some of the holes, but I'm not gonna fill them all in. I'll come in, probably take a couple of them out here and there, but and right here. But for the most part, I just kind of want a clean look. I'll fill some of these in probably. Like I said, we're not going to go crazy on this. I really had no intentions of filling any holes in, but I'll probably fill a few in. So if you guys are wondering how I did it, I used fiber fill. It's so fibrous that it can bridge the gap and there's no issue. The only thing is, when you do this, you really need to make sure your fenders are off so that you can come back in on the back side and lock it all in. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're going to get these like, looks like spaghetti strings that pop out like that. And like Play-Doh, essentially. It's going to come out of these holes and you need to come back and smear it in. That's not the preferred way to do it. Obviously, you should weld them. I'm only doing the small holes. Like I said, I'm not really going to get into that on this particular car. Are you helping Daddy sand?
Yes, sir. With this?
Yeah, you're doing a good job. All right, guys, so we are still sanding. It's, you know, Bondo after Bondo after Bondo. So Memphis is out here helping. She's helping me out, but anyway, yeah, we're still sanding, so there's not really a lot to show you guys. There's this side, there's that side. Remember, guys, there was a huge hole right there, so we welded that up. Worked out pretty good. I'm impressed. I'm happy with this. This is going really good, and we're just going to finish it up, and I will show you the finished product more than likely, because there's just no point in showing this, because I mean, this is going to go on for hours and hours. All right, guys, till next time.
Wait, Daddy.
What?
Bye.